Hey, this is Kat Perkins, and you're listening to the Ken Valdez Approach on Rock Rage Radio.
Welcome to the Ken Valdez Approach.
Hey, welcome on in. It's your boy KV coming at you from my Soul Renegade Sound Studios, right here in the frozen area of Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm welcoming you to the Ken Valdez Approach. You know, one of the coolest things about doing a show like this is having the opportunity to meet, to get to know, to talk with people who you just connect with, you just click with, you vibe with, right? You feel like you strike up an instantaneous friendship, you know, or it feels like you might have known this person your entire life. That was definitely the case with this week's guest. Now, I've had friends of mine who know us both who have said, you guys need to connect because y'all would just hit it off. They were exactly right, man. Yeah, I made a new friend. His name is Trev Lukather. Does that last name ring a bell? Yeah, it should. Steve Lukather, guitar god from Toto. He played on Thrilla, man. And every other record that's probably out there in existence. Yeah, it's Steve Lukather's son. Now, Trev is his own man, doing his own thing, making his own sounds. In fact, he has a brand new single that is released today. Now, when we did this interview, he was just about to get married. So this is right before his marriage. And his marriage had made headlines. He married Madison Kane, daughter of Journey's Jonathan Kane. Talk about a rock and roll power couple right there, man. Yeah, unbelievable. We talk about everything here, there, and everywhere, and check out his brand new single. Here's my conversation with my friend Trev Lukather here on The Approach. Well, hey, here I am with Trev Lukather. Does that last name sound familiar to anybody? Right? I'm sure you get that all the time, but I mean, it's a blessing. It's a curse. What is it? Tell me about it.
I think it's a blessing, man. You know, I kind of went through a time period of my life where it was heavy, man. I let it be heavy. And then I had this like spiritual awakening when I was 29, and I realized that, man, we're all small, man. We're all like on this floating speck in the universe, and we're all the little specks on the floating speck. And for us to put any kind of pressure on ourselves is ridiculous. You know, we're all here figuring it all out, man, you know? And when I felt that sense of small, but in the most liberating way, all of those kind of, you know, thoughts and the pressures lifted. And then I realized that I started playing better and just being more me. And, you know, man, so I look at it as it's only a curse to people that are small-minded enough, I'm sorry, to just box someone in and be like, oh, you come from this person, you better be exactly that. But then if I was to be exactly that, they would hate me because I'm just the clone.
Right.
There's no, I don't know. It's either way, you're gonna get shit, man. You know. I think that it's absolutely a blessing. I've been, you know, inspired since I can even my first memory. You know, so.
Oh, that's awesome to hear.
I'm all about the Lukather, bro. I wear the name proud.
Good, as you should, man. As you should. Yeah, I know it's kind of lofty to live up to, but you're your own man. Although you came from the loins of a god, right? Like, you know, just rock god. And I mean, you know, and then you got the Curry side of you.
Yeah.
That doesn't suck either, man. You know, that's just, I mean, that's music. That's rock and roll, and so you have this legacy that precedes you, and the coolest thing is that you are taking that legacy and carrying on.
I mean, look at me, man. I'm a full mash of curves.
It's kind of frightening, just a touch, right?
It's
just a touch. It's like, oh,
there's so much my dad, and then you could clearly see the mom in me too, you know. So
yes, yeah. Your dad, your mom, bam! It's like spitting image of both of them, and it's like whoa.
A test needed, man. You know, we were like my personality too, like because I just mixed. We're in a mixing section. I didn't mix it, but I produced a song on my dad's upcoming solo album.
Oh, wow. Right on.
I co-wrote and produced it, and we were in the mixing session with Ben Freeman, who does the live sound for Toto. And, you know, just the jokes that were like, Dad and I were there, and like the jokes I was saying to Ken, like, you know, not you, Ken, but, you know, the Ken Freeman.
The other Ken.
The other Ken.
Yes.
And it was just, Dad says, hey, man, you know, he just looked at Ken, he's like, you know, at least I know when I die, the humor is going to stick around.
Right. Yeah.
So it's just kind of funny. A lot of people, definitely when they hang with me that know Dad, it's the personality. I don't know. Cause I was the leg hugger in the studio, man. I was hanging out with Pop, just watching him do his thing and taking it in as much as I possibly could. Cause I got the music bug, man, when I was really little. I mean, since I can remember, when I was 4 years old. So I think my first memory is like involving drums.
God, man. Well, let's talk about that for sure. But before that, I mean, I remember reading your dad's book, mm-hmm. and obviously he speaks very highly of you. You know, but he calls you his best friend.
Yeah,
and that's such a cool thing. That's such a cool thing, you know, to have that father and son relationship, being a father, right? I get it. But I mean, the fact that you guys have a bond of friendship, of a solid friendship, not just the father-son thing, but that friendship, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I get it.
Well,
I see it.
You know, and the fact that, I guess when you become an adult and stuff, the relationship does shift, you know, because we were always so tight. But then when you get to a certain age, you know, there's no real need for, like, I don't know. I mean, you always need your dad, right. But mutual, I don't know. It's more of we just have this friendship bond too. It's funny because I call him bro. Hey bro, what's up? You know, like, right. You know, he'll say that to me, like, what's up, bro? You know? So, yeah, man, you know, but of course when I was a kid, growing up, man, he was as much as he was on the road, I always knew that was what he had to do, and I always, obviously, as a young musician, respected it. So, but when he was home, he was very hands-on, very there, very supportive. You know, and still to this day, extremely supportive.
So, growing up, right? I mean, he's out on the road, and when he's not there, right? I mean, I'm talking like earliest memories.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure that it was the norm.
Yeah.
Okay. But with that said, you also got this bug. How did you come to the understanding, aside from it being the norm, right? Of like, this is what my dad does. And, you know, how did you attain the music bug, as you put it, you know, as well as growing up in a house like that, or knowing that your father's going to be gone, you know, for months at a time, right? How did that all work out in your house?
You know, man, from where it started was I got a drum kit for my birthday, I think, when I was 4. I got a drum kit from Jeff Beccaro as a gift.
Oh, man.
And I obviously was hooked. I mean, immediately hooked. And I don't know, man, it came naturally to me. I was able to really play in time and have a pocket and able to play to a click at 4, and, you know, and like,
oh my God, of course, right?
It was really cool because it was like Pop would come to the room, because in the beginning, I don't even know. You know, it's so funny when you look back, you're like, what was Pop thinking, man? Like having a drum kit in the house, like just so I could just bang on it. Like, I'm sure my man had, like, you know, some hangovers, you know, and it's like, I got my kid playing in the room, like drums. But it was really cool because he would come in and have there's a little amp in my room, and he would just jam with me. And so we would have this moment of being able to jam. So when I was young, man, I don't know, like I was given a gift of, you know, obviously, like I said, drums, and I just took to it, man. And I felt it was such a cool way to just have that moment and jam with my Pop. And you know, then I'd show up to, like, as a kid, I'd show up to his baked potato shows and stuff. And
right on.
And then he would just be like, you want to come up and jam a song, you know? And then I'd come up and play. People would be like, whoa, you know, because I'd play, like, you know, even if it's like 4 on the floor or whatever, it was like, at least there was a groove and time to it. So
wow.
And I was little. So yeah, man. So obviously at that young of an age, then Dad's going out, or he's in the studio, or Dad's going out on tour. You know, of course Tina and I, my older sister, I mean, I remember some memories of us just, like, you know, crying our eyes out when he's leaving, you know, because we never gone for a while, and like we're like screaming for him not to go. And Dad's like, my dad's an emotional dude, and he was, he would cry, and it was an emotional thing, just to, because we all, it was a very loving, obviously a very loving vibe. So, that was the tough part, because we loved Dad so much that he had to go. But another part of me is, I get it, and Mom was there, and Miriam, who's been a part of our family for so long, like all of us, like she's my second mom. Like I was surrounded by love, man, when he wasn't around, but when he was there, and he was on top of it,
I love that. So growing up, what are you listening to? What's Dad bringing home or telling you, hey man, check this out, listen to this, and yeah, what did you start listening to? What did you start getting into? Was it because of your pop, or was it because you're just out there kind of seeking your own thing? What was it?
Full credit to Mom, man. Like Dad wasn't.
Wow, nice.
Dad wasn't really like when I guess when you do it, you go on tour, you go in the studio, and you're playing music for hours or playing on other people's records, whatever. It's like you're not coming home saying, "Oh, I got to jam this record now. I can't wait." I think he was a little like toast on a lot of things.
Sure.
So Mom was the tastemaker for me, and she would play like Duran Duran, Ordinary World. I remember listening to all the time. That album, I forgot what the record was called, but like Pink Floyd, Journey, like a lot of the music that I really, really, really connected with and was inspired by. Peter Gabriel, all stuff was all brought to me from my mom, and that's why I really listen to my mom's opinion, man. Like when I it's like I go to her because she's just like a no fucks given. Like I will tell you where it's at, So if Mom to me, I'm like okay, because she's a listener. I mean, she did that album with Cherie, but she didn't really want to be a pop star or whatever. So she is just a great music listener, and when she was married to Dad, she was very honest with him, and if she liked something or not, and when Mom likes something, it tend to always, I guess, work out and be like a hit song for pop, so
wow.
So I always go to Mom and say, what do you think? I mean, Dad's he's a tough critic too, but he's at this point he's really digging what I'm doing, and he's really he's become we're each other's biggest fan, and same thing with Mom. Mom's like a huge support. But like I remember I'll play her stuff. She's like, yeah. But like this record, my solo record that I'm gonna drop next year, it's like that's like every time I get in her car, she has it blasting. So I was like, okay, this is a good sign,
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's that motherly pride, but when it comes down to the brutal honesty, that's a good thing. That's a real good thing. Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. So tell me about this, too. So you started on drums, but you're playing guitar. And you're playing guitar like a son of a gun, man. Yeah. So how did that progression happen?
So, when Toto reunited with Bobby Campbell, like in 2000 or 99, 2000, I went to a show because, Pop didn't tour much in the United States.
Right.
So I didn't get a chance to really see like the big Toto situation until that tour of that album. But they did one show in LA, and first fucking tune, man, Dad goes up and he just rips a solo and everyone's reaching out for him. And at that moment I was like, I want to be that guy, man, because I was playing drums, I would hear like melodies in my head and like these melodies and these riffs, but I couldn't obviously, do anything about it. So I feel like I was gradually leaving the drums, even though I feel drums are the best thing for people to learn no matter what, because as any musician, the most important thing, as Ken, is timing, groove, pocket,
Yes.
So if you get with the drums and you have like a familiarity with it, I feel you'll adapt to other instruments so much better.
Wow.
So I'm really grateful for that time that I had. But when I saw Pop shred, man, I was like, I want to be that guy. And it was funny because I actually just like did a little like TikTok story time thing of talking about how I learned how to play guitar. And it was, everyone thinks, because I always get these comments when I post a video or something like, oh, you had the best teacher, man. Like,
right.
Get the coolest teacher. And I said, well, I'll tell you what what Dad's lesson was to me is after I approached him at the gig, I was 12, 13, and I was like, Pop, man, I want to play guitar. I want to be just like you. And he's like, oh, that's cute, man. I said, no, man, I want to be just like you. And he's like, I said, teach me, man, teach me. And he, brought me to the drum room and he tuned my low E to D and had me put my index finger in barred and sound like a power chord. He's like, have fun. He left the room. That was it. That was my lesson. Nothing else. And listen, obviously, like Ken and like me and like a lot of guitar players or most guitar players is that we watch. That's what we do. We watch other players. We see how they're fingering. I remember like learning a power chord by watching a guitar video. I think it was like, I forgot what I was watching YouTube or something, and I saw do a power chord, and I was like, okay, that's what it is. And then that's how but I naturally started picking up on stuff. And funny enough is I don't play in standard. I always play with my low E to D because that's how I learned how to play. So then I started like coming up with all these voice things and stuff. And that's why Pop didn't really get me with like a teacher. He kind of saw me catching on. He's like, man, you're kind of developing your own thing. And I don't know if I want to, fuck with that. The only thing that I wish I knew more, and I know this might shock a lot of people, but I'm not a technical guy. I'm not very, the theory and stuff like that. I'm such an ear player that like, I know where my fingers go where they need to go. And I hear it in my head and I have a good intuition. So I'm able to get there, but I'm not really the guy that's gonna be like, all right, so we're in the key of like, whatever. It's like, and then the jam thing, I'm not Mr. Improviser, man. I like to really think out solos. I'd like to, for the most part, it is improvising though, but I like to really hone in and make sure that everything that I do is thought out,
That's great, man. And I mean, that's definitely from almost a producer perspective. And I know that you produced as well. Yeah. And you produced your new record. And
like you, man, like how you're saying how the pandemic all of a sudden brought this to you, like this, syndicated show. Just congratulations on that, man. And like that's kind of what happened with me with the pandemic. It, with we had a record. My old band had a record deal, and then but you're sitting around and you can't tour. And I was a touring musician as well, so it's like, what do I do? And I got kind of brought into this production world, and it just took over, man. So like that's been like what I've been doing to like put food on the table for, it's just like is production. And that's so weird, but it's great. I love it.
We got to do what we got to do. But the nice thing about it as well is with that ear, with that, with that passion that you have, with the understanding of drums, with the understanding of hearing things like, these melodies, with, all of this that you have. Tell me, what is the Trev Lukather sound?
Man, this tune, this is why we're releasing this song first, is because this was the first song that I wrote and produced for the record. Like just like saying, you know what, after the band, the disbanding of the old situation, and that was really hard to take. And we had a record deal, we had huge agents, we had it all going, and for it all to just implode before the debut album even comes out.
Right.
In 3 years of working and touring and just in the grind of it all, like for us not to really be able to see it really do any, like we didn't even get a chance to really do anything with it. We were super proud of the record, but the vibe between the band was just not good. And like, the emotions were flying pretty high at this point, like when I recorded this song, because it was fresh from the band sitch. And, and I just always, like I said, like one of my biggest musical influences as an artist is Peter Gabriel. So like the So album is like, to me, one of the greatest albums of all time. And what's so cool about it is it's very all over the map. Like there's some songs that are like, you got like the ballads like In Your Eyes, which is like, by the way, going to be the song that I danced to Maddie and I's first dance.
Yeah.
and like you have like those, but then you have like Big Time, you have Sledgehammer, and you have like these like horn sections with groove, and it's like, cool, fun lyrics, kind of tongue-in-cheek lyrics, and it's unique. He also brought in people and musicians that he knew were going to kind of, not make it so typical pop record. Like, even though you think Your Eyes can be such a pop piano song, but like his choice of, I wish I remembered the drummer's name, but he brought a complete different groove of what he would have imagined. Then you get like Tony Levin, or you get like all these people that like all of a sudden it's becoming this like really unique thing. But he just cared about the record. He cared about the art of it all. So that, to me, when I went in, I said, well, first of all, I'm gonna make sure I make a record with people that I fucking love.
Yes, man. Yes.
That the vibe's good, because if the vibe's good and the love is in the room and everyone's kind of feeding off of each other, no matter what, it's going to be great. Like, even if it's just for me or just for the people that are involved in it, it's going to be great because we're having a blast doing it. And that's why, like, this round of like for this song is I have Steve Majora, who's, now in Toto, keyboards, and he does, he did the Steve choir, as he calls it, in the background vocals.
Sweet.
And I brought my buddy Christian Attard. He played in Heart bass, and he also he's in Sugar Ray now. And then my buddy Jay Caden on drums, who I've been playing music with for 14, 15 years. He's out with Dorothy, and he played with Beth Ditto and Missing Persons. Wow. So like, I had these group of people, and this is just the first song, of just people that, man, the vibe's great. I love them. They're my dear brothers, and it was just fun. And then I brought my cousin Jake. He engineered and he did background vocals as well. He's an insane talent. He did the lyric video for it. He did all the music videos for my old band Lavara. And he's an incredible artist, singer, writer himself. So I was just surrounded by love, man. So it's like, all right, I had all this angst in me, like the lyrics and like the whole thing it's a very angst. I call it like the self-love angst down. Self-love.
I dig it.
Because it's more of, I'm not the problem, but like, I guess it's kind of like, I was just kind of going through this of kind of like, why am I getting attacked? But, I guess it's just envy, jealousy, whatever it is. You don't understand, but like, make tongue-in-cheek lyrics about it, and that's kind of like, it was my therapy, man. This song was straight therapy for me. And I think that when there was no actual, like, at the time, direction, like, I was kind of like, where are we going to take this? Like I said, I wanted to channel some Peter Gabriel vibes, and Steve says, hey man, I got this horn section in New Orleans. They're called 504 horns. Why don't we, you should probably because I had like synth horns that I kind of made, and he's like, get the real deal on there, man. And
yeah, man.
And I was like, man, I've never had a real horn section on a track before. And, called them up, and they absolutely killed it. And then morphing, and then when Steve started putting the synths on there and building up, kind of have like a little Michael Jackson synths, like in the with
right, yes.
And then like he's doing the changes, and like it's very like Thriller-esque, at moments. But like, I don't know. But I want to channel like Prince. I wanted to channel like all these kind of fun things, man. That like, because I love like funk rock music. I love like the Prince. When you see like horn sections, people like you're rocking out, but like it's funky, and you're just like your head's just like
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
God, that, man. So that all happened, and when the song was done, I was like, well, this is the sound, man. Like, this is like what I got to run with for the rest of the record. And yeah, man. So it kind of just developed by this song. So that's why, talking to my team that are releasing the song with me, is that we felt that this was the perfect first song introduction, because it was the first song introduction to actually the whole record anyway, God,
man. And it's so funny that you bring up Peter Gabriel, just because, I hear it. Yeah. I get it. But again, you have all these influences. There's, what I was telling you before was, it's very broad.
Yeah.
Right? It's very, very broad, the familiarity. Where those influences lie. And so hearing this description, hearing that, Peter Gabriel was a huge influence on this whole thing, and hearing the Michael Jackson, kind of synth kind of stuff, and, of course the funky, Prince stuff, everybody on this show knows, man, that I'm here in Minneapolis, and Prince is, if you saw around my studio right now, he's around, around for sure. But I get it. And I guess when I hear, the angst, and I think that was a great word. I was saying earlier that it was like the sludge or the grunge or whatever. It wasn't. It's not that. It's angst.
Yeah.
It's angst. And so you have the spirit of that kind of music right there. So that comes through. There's so much to just grab onto, and just enough musical ear candy, man, that just makes this so much fun. So now that we're talking about this, I'm just going to go ahead and play this thing, man. So everybody, this would be awesome. All right, man. You wish. Trev Lukather.
Something to believe in. You were the lost I found. This was more than a feeling, but now the truth is out. There could be no jealousy that you didn't envy me, that you weren't your own enemy. You are not the clown. Yeah, you are. It's over, it's over. Set free the fakeness you refuse to resist and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. I'm set free while you're lying to yourself in the lips and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. Everything happens for reasons. Can you find the truth within your lies? There was time left for healing, but now the time has died. That you had a little dignity, that you weren't going down, that you weren't your own enemy. You are not the clown. Yeah, you are. It's over, it's over. Set free the fakeness you refuse to resist and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. I'm set free while you're lying to yourself in the lips and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. It's over, it's over. Set free the fakeness you refuse to resist and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. I'm set free while you're lying to yourself in the lips and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. Set free the fakeness you refuse to resist and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish. I'm set free while you're lying to yourself in the lips and hate me. 'Cause you can't be me and I know you wish.
Dude, that was slamming. That was slamming. And, you and I were talking just a little bit ago. I'm not going to lie, y'all. I've had this for a little while, and I listened to it a lot. I listen to it a lot, and it's great, man. It's so cool. It's so cool. And, yeah, dude, I think that you are doing something excellent right now, and very good. And yeah, all those influences that you were just talking about, they're all right there in that song, for sure. You hear where you're coming from, man.
I mean, man, there's something about, I mean, I know we were talking this, but just like the records that really connect to me, or you see something live. And I also want people to imagine what it's kind of going to be like live. You know, we want that that excitement to want to see it in person too, you know. And I feel like, as crazy as I am as a live player, of just like, I like to run around the stage like a maniac and connect with everybody. And I feel like, I mean, obviously, listen, I'm gonna warn some people when I do go out and play. There's gonna be tracks, man. I know there's people that like are anti tracks, but there's so much going on. A lot of ear candy stuff that we put in that, you know, unless I have an 18-piece band, it's not gonna really come across.
Right.
I want to have a live version. And I toured with a guy named What's Going On, a producer DJ. It was just me on guitar, him on electronic drums, and he's a DJ. Literally, we did Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo. I'm telling you, the fucking kids went nuts, man. And I was like, whoa. Because growing up the way I did, it's like everyone, you know, you have the, you know, bunch of background singers. You have, you know, you will bring out a horn section or something. It's like, man. And in the world of today, too, man, how expensive it is to play a gig or to tour.
To tour, yeah.
It's so hard, and you know, I'm going to do what I can. But I definitely wanted, you know, when you hear that music, it's like, because when I've seen these like certain bands, you got like Tower of Power, you got like these like, or you know, or we're talking about Prince. You're in the land of Prince. You live in the land of Prince.
Yeah, I do.
Michael Jackson, like you have these like, you know, people just, you hear these songs on the record, you just want to dance, but also just makes it brings out that like,
it's something primal, man. It's something. Yes,
I love fucking primal, man.
Yeah, man.
And so yeah, it's like I love, you know, that you say what you're saying and that you're connecting to it. Because like I said, when you know they were listening to the song to you, is you're one of the very first people to listen to it, and
Thank
now. People are able to listen to it, but this is obviously done a couple weeks prior.
Right. But man, yeah, there's something very primal about just driving funk, right? Whether it be just stuff that's 4 on the floor, or you're listening to like an old James Brown record, or you're checking out Tower of Power. There's something so powerful in that music, rhythmically, right? Some people might not get off on the horns or whatever else, you know, they're throwing. It might not be their cup of tea. It might not, you know.
Yeah.
We never know. I'm probably, you know, hated by many, and you know, and that's fine. I might not be somebody's cup of tea. Tower of Power might not be somebody's cup of tea, but man, if you just sit there for a minute. And I urge all of you guys that are listening to this that may or may not know Tower of Power or old school James Brown type stuff, Gap Band, any of those guys, right? Like, just sit there for a minute and just listen to it on a scale of just remove the lyrics for just even a sec, and just listen to what these guys are doing rhythmically. And what they're doing, you know, in the background to present these singers, or in Tower of Power's cases, like present those horns, and how that all works in conjunction. There is something so primal. It just taps into something, you know, internal that it's indescribable. That's why I love that kind of music so much. So I relate wholeheartedly with what you're saying.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wanted to tap into that primal vibe myself. You know, it's like to be able to listen to real horns and see everything kind of develop. You kind of looking around, man. Okay, wait, what the fuck is this? In the best way. You know, it's like, I guess we're on. Then you get to have a little bit of that vibe that you feel listening to other people's records on your own record too. It's a really cool experience to have to get real horns. I mean, horns were out of the game for a long time, man.
Right.
And I love that. You know, it's kind of, you know, what kind of came back was like Uptown Funk, you know, and like that song came out, all of a sudden, you know, you're hearing a horn section on a pop record, but it worked so well, and it made you like, you know, appreciate that what they were going for is channeling all those old school records. Yeah,
totally. I mean, it was so funny because, you know, here I am in Minneapolis, and when that song came out, it's just like, sounds like Moore's Day in the Time.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, we're just there going, what's this? This is awesome. And sure enough, like,
bringing that dance, the Moore's Day in the Time thing, man, like the whole just like, you know, the dance with his friends, you know, like how Morris sidekick and they do the dance together. It's like
Jerome. Yeah.
Such a vibe. And seeing that kind of come back in full swing, I was all about it.
Yeah, same here. Same here. And, it was brought in such a way that I like the fact that it was just introduced to a whole new generation.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
Yeah. And at the time, too, I mean, we lost Prince a few years back. Well, his legacy will carry on forever. But when somebody like Bruno does something like that, there's a whole new fan base. There's a whole new group. There's a whole, and then there you are as well. You're right, smack dab in the middle of it, man, in a completely different manner, mind you.
Yeah.
But it's there. It's absolutely there.
The main goal too, at the same time, is I've always been a Pop-Tart, man. I've always been about hooks. I've always been about, catchy stuff. That's what I like to do. So, able to incorporate, and like my favorite bands, like my Pops band, and like Journey, or like all these bands from the 70s and 80s, man, that were able to make great pop music with like great musicianship and with like guitar solos and a lot of vocals and harmonies and all that stuff that it's still selling out stadiums now, man. I mean,
right?
Like, for arenas and stadiums, these bands are still doing it, and the audiences are getting younger and younger because a lot of kids are diving into old school records, man, and hearing those old songs, and so there's so much room for musicianship and real playing mixed with pop records. It's like the proof is in the pudding, man.
Right. Right.
And it's like, I'm not doing a baked potato. It's not a baked potato. It's not a jam record, but there is jamming in it. It's like,
absolutely. There's so much room for it too, right?
Yeah. Like I'm all as much ear candy as possible. If someone puts on headphones and listens to something, like hear all the detail. Like you're not going to hear all the detail in one listen. You have to listen to it like 4 or 5 times to really say, "Oh shit, what's that?" Or "What's that?" I could hear like this weird key part, or this weird guitar part, or this weird vocal harmony, and or like little ad lib things. Like it's an experience. You want the music listener to have that experience again, man.
Yes, preach, preach.
Right.
Well, it's so interesting that you say that too, just because we had Stevie Salas on here recently. And Stevie, has played with everybody, right? Just absolutely everybody from, Mick Jagger to Rod Stewart to, Terrence Trent D'Arby to, like the list goes on and on and on. He's like your pop, man, right? He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
But he said something that has kind of stuck with me, because I had asked him about, the whole, I guess, the industry now compared to what it used to be. Yeah. Right. And he gave his, he held nothing back. It was great. The thing about it was the fact that he had said, it's really interesting to see that a lot of the newer generation of people, the kids, if you will, yeah, there's some stuff that they're listening to that's new and current or whatever. But the majority of the listenership, even at that young age, are going back. They're listening to the stuff that's classic, to that kind of stuff, and they're getting their vibe, their musical taste from there, right? Not even the stuff that's necessarily current. So that really does, it just kind of, goes in concert with what you were saying.
I saw an article, man, or maybe it was a video, I'm not sure, but it was a guy talking about the problem with the music industry. Well, there's a lot of problems, but
oh, yeah.
The main one when it comes to artists is there's no developing artists anymore.
That was another of his points, man. That was another of his points.
These you look at all the names of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It took most of them 2 albums, 3 albums, 4 albums to really hit that stride commercially. And then all of a sudden create those songs that were so timeless, or are so timeless. They don't do that anymore.
No, A&R is dead. A&R is dead.
The A&R thing is dead, and that's the sad thing. And so that's why we're lacking these like superstar people in our industry, or these like timeless, like you got the Coldplays, you got the Imagine Dragons, you got like Lady Gaga, you got Bruno Mars, you got these people, but like, they were all kind of in an older era of bands that like came out when it still was possible to sell a bunch of records and and there was still maybe a little bit of A&R, and a new artist coming out that's like dominating that, like, oh my gosh, that's writing their own stuff and knows it's I listen. I mean, being a producer as well, it's like I listen to all the playlists, man. I listen to everything coming out, weekly playlists, all the top alternative and rock playlists I listen to every week, because I want to hear everything sonically. I want to hear the songs that are coming out, what kind of vibe. And it's like, wow, like there's some, it's crazy that you have to really, like, when you could find like 3 or 4 killer tracks in a main playlist out of like 50, 60 songs, 3 of them are hitting me. And I'm like,
Right.
fuck, man. But then there are also like random bands. It's like one band is like, independent. They're just getting on their first playlist. Like, wow, this is a really cool band. Like, for instance, TikTok. It's all about TikTok to major label artists right now, and they discover artists on TikTok. And the problem with that is TikTok is just a sensory overload. Like, you go through it. I mean, you're seeing someone get ran over by a car. Next thing you know,
I don't mean to laugh at that, but I'm laughing at that. But yeah, right. Oh, Jesus.
The next one is Bigfoot. The next one is, aliens. The next one is this person dying of cancer. And then the next one is a really cool singer or a great, song. And you see all these likes and millions of hits. It's, hitting the For You page, going viral. And I'm like, wow. And I'll discover some really cool artists. I'm like, but I'm going to go look at their Spotify. So they have millions of hits, millions of likes, or like, hundreds of thousands of likes, thousands of comments.
Right.
And I go on their Spotify and they have 60,000 streams on a song that's all over the place. I'm like, it's not translating because people are too caught up with what's the next video. They could be like, this is great. I'll like it. I'll follow the person. I'll comment. But they're not going to their page to see what they're doing.
Oh, man.
Because they're too caught up. What's the next fucking brutality video that's entertaining as fuck? And listen, I'm saying this out of experience because I go on TikTok and watch the aliens and the Bigfoot and all.
I see people getting hit by cars.
Yeah.
And that next video, is he going to get hit head on or is it going to be from behind? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Nothing about like, oh, I'm going to cover the next, Michael Jackson here.
Right.
But people get caught up. So there aren't any longevity artists because labels are just saying, oh, this song's, huge on TikTok. So we're going to purchase this song and we're going to make as much money off of this song. And then on to the next, on to the next, and on to the next. And that to me is what is the downfall. Because if we actually made music industry like how it used to be,
yeah,
like where like the when you really had to play and really had to like sing in tune and play in time and all that stuff, that was like the Olympics of musicianship and songwriting.
Yes,
like,
it was. Yes,
the song that came out was great, and then you had to compete with that, and that's the reason why the music industry, like the value of it is so not that, like no one looks at music as valuable,
That's so sad. And I mean, I don't think we talk a little bit about this on this show. I don't think anybody has ever used those words, and they're hitting me really hard right now, that the value is lost.
Yeah.
And it's such a valuable thing, right? Because, I mean, imagine where we would be without music. I mean, that's that one common denominator that everybody shares. It doesn't matter who you are, you like some form of music.
Fucking Ted Bundy and loved music,
Right.
Jeffrey loved music. It's just like that is the one thing that's like you could be a sociopathic, lunatic.
Right.
But, hey, you love the Rolling Stones.
Yes. No, exactly. I think a lot of the time when we talk about this stuff, I think that we find that the attention span of listeners, obviously, it's in nanoseconds at this point, right? But it's also a generation of instant gratification.
Yes.
Right. So a lot of times they're not going to go out and they're not going to purchase the whole record. They're not going to go to a record store, which is one of the coolest things. go to a record store and you pick up, you just hold that vinyl, you hold that CD, or you hold that cassette, whatever it is. It's something physical, something in your hand. You get to read the liner notes. You get to see the pictures. All of that kind of plays a part into what's actually on the recorded, medium that you're using, right? The record or the CD or whatever. The whole thing kind of comes together in a beautiful way. It's an art form, and it's gone, man, and it's gone, and that sucks. All because people want to be instantly gratified. Oh, that's cool. I'm just going to go stream this now.
Yeah. And they're not going to go to the show, man. I mean, I've seen some bands of mine that like have gone millions of streams or have number one rock records on the charts, that you go to their show or they're, opening for another band or they're the main band. And that I've seen this multiple times is then they're playing the big song that has like 50 million streams and then they stop for people to sing and people don't even sing along. They don't even fucking know the tune. And
right.
I'm like, so what's like, it's just, there's nothing that, before if you had a top 10 single, like people know the tune, will sing every word, and you have loyal fans and stuff like that. Now it's like, it's so oversaturated. People are like, do I know the song? Maybe I've heard it. I'm not sure. Because it's this one of 80,000 songs a day that come out. I don't know.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, it's oversaturated. You really got to do some deep diving just to find something that you're really into. Or, in those cases of a lot of musicians playing live, you get those chants from the crowd, play something we know. It's just like, come on, man, come on.
And that's, right? This is why I'm so proud of this record too. For me, is because like I stopped caring about, is this in the box of this or is this in the box of that? Like you got to sound like this, you got to sound like that. There are the one cool thing. There's a few cool things about the whole social media thing. Is like a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to get in front of a label person or get in front of the world. Like they're in the middle of fucking nowhere, America or whatever, any country. You're like you're somewhere, and
right.
and it's so far from of you getting a chance at this. And that's the cool thing about the social media and the TikTok stuff is like someone in some random place singing in their bedroom or playing guitar in their bedroom all of a sudden get in front of a huge audience, and that's cool. That I support that. But there's got to be some kind of new thing that comes in with it. How do we just kind of condense? Like we got to like do something where not like just, I don't know, man. It's really tough. I'm not sure. But my whole point to this is make the music you want to fucking make. Because
right.
If you're real with what you want to do and everything that you put out there, 100%, you're not saying, I got to sound like because this song came out and it's number one, we got to do something like that. Just do you, man, because if it's fucking cool and you got some talent and it's real, you're pouring your heart out, there's no way. Not everyone's gonna like you. Most people are gonna hate you, but like, just fucking, there's gonna be people that love you and they're gonna be loyal to
yes
because they can realness of what you're making, and that's why we love the artists that we love, because they didn't give a fuck about anybody else's fucking thoughts. They made the record. Every time you hear of a band like coming back from the dead or fucking, like, well, this is the last record we have left before we're dropped or whatever. Or all the huge records that, like, if they were signed to a label back in the day, it's like the label's like, there's no hit on this record. It's gonna flop. It's gonna be shit. Well, put it out anyway. And then that becomes like a legendary record.
Right. Yeah.
People believed in it enough to go tell the record company to go fuck themselves. I feel everyone should make music, for themselves and believe in it. And, and like for me, it's like I'm releasing my record independently because labels, the few labels that heard my record fucking loved it. I got amazing feedback, but it's like, well, has he released it yet? Or what are the TikTok numbers? That's the number one question.
That's right. Oh God.
I'm like, whatever, man. Like at this point, I have people that really dig what I do, and I'm just going to go do me, man. And people will catch on if they want to catch on, or if they don't, they don't. But I at least got to put myself out there and not care about all the static noise around me and just be like, I'm just going to go out and play for the people that want to hear it. And,
That's right, man. Win them over one person at a time.
and that's the one old school thing, man, is that, if someone actually put this in an interesting way, you as a fellow musician, they said the difference with TikTok it's basically you can do a radio promo tour from your living room.
Right.
So you make daily content on the same song. Like, when I know that when I get back from the honeymoon, like I'm going to be doing a lot of content for You Wish. And like every day I got to come up with a little something different to keep just pushing it. And that's like how the old school way of like going out to radio station after radio station and playing acoustic versions and doing that to win one station at a time or one person at a time. That's why people slum in do the brutal tours, the clubs that are like you're playing for the janitor and two other people, but those two other people might buy a t-shirt,
Right, man. I mean, that's, I see the struggle. I'm in the struggle.
Yeah.
You're in the struggle.
We all are in this. Yeah, man.
Right. I mean, I get it. I see it. I feel it, and you try to find a way to get that leg up. One of the coolest things, though, that I've kind of found within, I call it this like new music business, this marketplace, this whatever you want to call it. What's interesting is all of a sudden the mystique, it's still there, kind of, right? For some artists, it's there. Like, I mean. But these people have had it for a while. I keep thinking of like Eddie Vedder. Nobody really knows much about Eddie Vedder because he wanted to stay off the radar anyway. That's just him. But in the advent of social media, you get to contact essentially everybody that you dig, right? And so
but obviously Eddie Vedder has the luxury of being Eddie Vedder.
Well, yeah, Eddie Vedder has it, but he also did it at a time when
records being something. My dad's off social media, but he could still go out and do arena tours because got those but you got that loyal fan base,
Right.
Artists don't have the luxury to be like, I'm not going to do that. I don't feel that. No one feels like doing it.
Right.
No one feels like sitting around doing content all day. They want to you want to make music. You don't want to make videos and then have to play like some kind of character.
Yeah, dude.
Like get people to pay attention to you. I mean, it's really sad. It's sad, man.
It is, man. No, I get it. I fully get it. And I just, yeah. For everybody that's out there listening, seriously, just we ain't bitching, but we're bitching, and we're not complaining, but we're complaining.
Hey,
but man, the only reason why we're bitching and complaining is because, there was a time and a place where that we came from, this old school mentality. Now we want to get hip with the times, man. We can do that, but come along the journey with us. That's all I'm saying. Come along because you don't know what you might be missing.
I was born 1 decade late.
Man, and you just got you're such an interesting cat, man. The whole, just all around, just your upbringing and man, just this killing record and hearing all the influences, and then you're producing, and then you're getting married coming up here, and by the time this show airs,
I'm a married man.
You're a married man.
Yeah, man.
And then, dude, I'm just gonna put it out there, because I think it's common knowledge that you are engaged to Jonathan Cain's daughter, Madison, who is also an incredible artist. She's a fantastic artist.
She's a great singer, man.
Yeah, absolutely. But you guys, so you're carrying on even there too with the whole, just that, remember that lineage, that whole thing. It's like there's that musicality coming through, and chances are, there's going to be a whole new generation of Lukathers that, man, I think are probably going to be turning some heads.
Oh,
so, yeah, man.
That's definitely the plan. I'll tell you that. But Maddie, Maddie, when we first started dating, she was just kind of like wanting to take a break for a while. But then, came on the road with me, and she's been by my side the whole time, man. And now she finally got, now she got into real estate, crushing in real estate, but now she, she's now getting back to like, I want to do, I have the bug again to do it. And she's starting to write her new stuff, and it's ridiculously sick. She actually just wrote with Matt, the singer of Vertical Horizon.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
And the tune is so good. And she's going to start her whole record coming up soon. I mean, I'm going to be involved a little bit. What's cool is like, I like the whole, honey, how was your day? Like, like her being able to play me some music, just like I do with, it's, we get to hear each other, work together. We've worked together before, but we'll, really hone in on doing some tunes for her record. But yeah, I mean, I really like to be kind of the fly on the wall, or kind of just be like getting the first dose without knowing. It's not like I'm hearing it the whole way through or building a track. It's like hear a song that she wrote, that's really great. Like Matt's such a fucking talent, and so it was really cool to do that. So she's getting back in the swing of things with that. But yeah, I mean, it was really fun, man. I mean, like, when we met, it was just very natural, man. It was just a very natural, comfortable thing. And I didn't know John. Funny enough, is I was very tight with Steve Perry, and then I knew Neil through Dad, hanging out all the time, but I never knew John. And when I met Maddie and John for the first time together, John. It's funny because how you were like talking about like like my look and how I am. It's like my dad and my mom, but like my.
It's the same thing with her.
And I just started talking, and he says, "Well, aren't you little Luke?" This is like first thing he like said. But like so like it was a really like laughable thing, and him and I just hit it off real quick off the bat. But then and Maddie was kind of sitting in the corner and didn't really talk much. And this was actually at the Sunset Marquee, and then she invited me to the show. Journey was playing with Def Leppard that night, so I was able to she gave me a pass, and I was like, oh man, she didn't really talk to me, because she hit me up on Instagram. That's how we even met.
Oh wow, right on.
And obviously I was like, hello there, follow, like. And it was just, I was like, well, what are we? She was pretty shy. I don't know. And then I ended up going there, and she met me in like a few minutes, and we were inseparable ever since, man.
I love it, man. I love it.
4 years ago now, we're getting married, man. And we couldn't be more stoked, dude. I mean, I proposed 2 years ago. We've been engaged for 2 years, and the reason why we waited so long is COVID. We didn't want to have masks at our wedding,
right. You wanted to do it right, man. You wanted to do it right. And that's great.
Oh, look, we're getting married in front of surgeons, It's like not really. It's just,
dude, I think it's awesome. And again, I was telling you before we started this, just the whole, you guys are on social media. You guys are fucking adorable, man. Let's just put it out there. These two kids, man, they're cute, man. They're cute, No, it's adorable, man. It's adorable watching you guys and seeing it, that connection. You guys have that. It's great. And you can see it. It's right there in front of you. And so congratulations, man. Yeah,
I mean, the cliche with Maddie and I, cliche of when you know, it sounds so cliche, but it was so true with us, it was so true. And just no game playing, no like trying to be something you're not in the beginning. Like most people go on dates and they're like talking themselves up, none of that, man. And obviously, growing up very similar, with entertainment families, we understood each other, and obviously there's that comfort of that, and not being fazed by anything either. I mean, there's no shortage of drama in entertainment families. I'll tell you that right now.
I can only imagine, man. I mean, yeah, you guys come from very high profile families, and
it's just kind of like people are so anyone else outside, it's like, oh man, like, listen, I wouldn't change anything for the world, but everyone has their problems, man, and families are families, and every family is dysfunctional, and entertainment's just a different, interesting, like, world. I don't know. It's a different. It's that on crack a little bit, not
Right.
not literally, but it's a different kind of stitch. But there's a lot of drama. But so anyway, but also we love our family. But
Yeah.
the thing is, what you dealt with or what I dealt with, like just growing up and also being used, man. Like me as a kid, when you think you have friends and they're trying to like get something from you,
Oh my God.
There's that. And or like you're dating someone and they're dating you for the entertainment aspect of it,
Right.
bragging or whatever the fuck it could be. You never know, man. Especially growing up in LA, it's
Oh my God. Yeah.
a little more
Yeah.
hype, But so like there was just none of that. That was I think the coolest thing too. But we just vibe with each other so deep, And then what was really cool is that we were able to get help facilitate at least is our parents fucking touring for the first time, man.
Right, dude. What a killer tour that is.
And they're doing it again next year, man. So that was another thing that I remember sitting at dinner, man. Matt and I were in Vegas with John and playing our Heart Radio festival, and just talking about how there's never been a Toto Journey tour, and how those two bands. I feel like if you love Journey, you got Toto. If you love Toto, you got to love Journey, man.
Yeah, right.
And how they've done all these tours with Journey was always tours with Foreigner and all. And Dad was going out with Pat Benatar or Michael McDonald or something like that. But dude, Toto Journey is fucking insane.
That's the show right there. Yeah.
And it works so well. They're doing another because and it's great because the families unite, man. And so yeah, it's just funny how all the universe works, man, and how things line in the weirdest way.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And that's, I think, one of the things that I can definitely take from this conversation. It comes across in your music. I certainly try to live by the same kind of creed, but just be you, man. Just be you. Be unique. It's okay to be unique. We were talking just a little bit ago about Stevie Salas being on the show, right? And the other thing that he had kind of said is don't be afraid to be different. Don't be afraid to be different. Just be you. Just do you. It's
massive, legendary artist. Them, man. Also or take music out of the equation. Whoever created the guy who created Starbucks, or all these people that you read these stories of all these people that are the top of the top, were denied countless times.
Right.
Or writers of Stranger Things. I think they were shopping that for a decade, like that.
Oh my God.
Everybody and their mother turned those guys down. But it became the biggest show in the world. It's just always those things when you keep fighting for it, fighting for what you believe in, and you're just be unique, be happy to be. We're all unique. I feel we're all rock stars in our right, man. And
yes,
that's the plumber or the fucking person that could build a fucking house, or the person that could. If you notice, there's always someone that is great at what people in society need, the world that keeps the world spinning.
Yes.
Things that you're someone just was naturally able to do shit that you can never fathom understanding how to do, but they just were oh yeah, it's easy. But to them it's easy. But it's my point is it doesn't matter what you do for a living.
Yeah, man.
You're a fucking rock star in your own right because there's something in your life that drives you to do that thing.
Right.
That inspires you to do. So that's when I know there's a higher purpose for everybody, and you just have to discover it, and everyone keeps the world turning, man. And God knows if I wasn't born in obviously a music family, I don't know what I'd be doing. Or
sure.
But also I have siblings that don't do music.
Right.
I have other siblings that have zero interest in doing music. So I'm the one that got the bug, and luckily I worked at it, and luckily, I got some talent, man. But
man.
It's not for everybody.
No, it's not.
And to be honest, it's as Ken, it's fucking tough, man.
Yeah, man.
You gotta have balls that weigh fucking bowling balls, that kind of heavy balls to fucking to do this because
yeah.
And not just balls. I mean, I can say the boobs. You got to have the boobs down there.
Yes, yes.
It doesn't matter. I don't want to like say just guys, but like I was saying, like to be in the music industry takes a lot of courage and confidence. You have to fucking love yourself, man, because if you don't, it's just not the way to go.
No.
You're gonna be told how much you suck. You're gonna be told no a million times. And you're gonna be told, it's constant. You have to innerly believe within your heart and soul that it's the only option. No plan, man. But like going back to just saying, like, the fact they're doctors and the fact that there's like these people that are, why there's actually cures or anything is because someone was crazy enough to say it can be done when everyone and their mother was saying, no, it can't be done and you're crazy and it's never going to happen. But
I'm going to add on to that just a little bit, because I know that we're running low on time here, but I will tell you that while you're talking about this and while you're saying this, I'm thinking to myself, this is really the beauty of the world. You have people that are rock stars at being doctors or at being a plumber or being an electrician or building houses, whatever it is that they're doing, sitting behind a desk, crunching numbers. Legit, right? And here we are making music.
Yeah.
All of it works together, man.
It all does.
All of it works together because those people, they need music too. And this is what we do, right?
Yeah.
And so when we get sick and we need a doctor, I'm looking for that rock star, man.
Exactly.
And hopefully he's a fan. Right?
Love it.
Dude, okay. We're coming to the end here, man. And usually what I do at the end is I just kind of go rapid fire with this, all right? So like no thinking, just go.
All right.
Top 3 guitar players that aren't your dad. Right. That aren't your dad.
I'd have to say, David Gilmour is like the all-time. Neil Schon is part of inspiration for me.
Yeah.
And Trevor Rabin.
Wow, dude, great list.
Thank you,
Great list. Yeah, Neil is definitely in my holy trinity, I think, as well. So, yeah, I feel you.
Trevor Rabin, too. So
yeah, Trevor is just ridiculous as well.
Very
that guy.
I don't know who he is, man. Check him out.
Yes. Just the Big Generator album alone. It's like, God, stop it. Just that record alone. There it is.
For like the pop culture world, for people that might not be hip to Trevor, is Owner of Lonely Heart, man. One of the best guitar solos recorded. Like, what an experience that Trevor did. Like, all of his guitar solos are so fucking... He's such a genius of a guy.
He is a genius of a guy.
Like, score movies like Armageddon and Remember the Titans and all that stuff.
Right.
But his guitar work is just next level, man. So, yeah.
God. I can listen to Level Find a Way probably like forever.
Yeah.
I still laugh at that one lyric that I just, what? The lyric is, here's my heart waiting for you. Here's my soul. I eat at Chez Nous. But other than that, man, I mean, like, it only adds to the song. You guys could have done something probably a little different there, but cool, okay.
But you gotta love the fucking giving about it, man. Yeah,
they don't give a shit. They're just like, here it is, man. Yeah. Let's see. And it's such a great song that it's like, that lyric is so funny, but damn it, I love this song so much, even with that lyric. Anyway, Trevor Rabin, I love it. Top 3 singers of all time.
Steve Perry.
Yes.
Graham. And man, I can't think about this. I'll gotta throw early Bobby Kimball, man, one of the best.
Bam.
Oh, you know what? Brad oh my God, Brad Delp,
dude, yes.
Sorry, I wanted to make sure I was like Brad, Boston singer. I think is probably one of the most underrated.
God, right?
But his vocal arrangements on those Boston records are so ahead of. They're timeless. They'll they'll be impressive to fucking aliens 3,000 years from now. You know?
Yes, I agree with you. Top 3 desert island records.
Oh man. Okay. Well, gotta go with Peter Gabriel's "So."
Yes.
Oh man. Gotta throw in Toto 4 in there.
Wow. Right on. Okay.
Oh gosh. Oh, this is killing me. The third one, man. Front to back records, man. You know what? I'm gonna do something a little more rock and roll, I guess,
Sure.
but a little more modern rock. Is the first Audio Slave record.
Dude, right on. Yeah.
That's
I feel
like
that.
back, every tune, face melting, unbelievable performances. I can listen to that record at any time, front to back, and be happy every time. And
I like that.
Want to like jump around the room and break down a door or something, you know. Tom Morello, a lot of love too, man. As far as talk about a guy that writes incredible riffs that have just groove and funk to them, like no one's business.
Right. And then he plays a guitar solo that just defies all thought. Just nobody. His thought patterns on that instrument are just, they're alien, man. That guy is out there, and it's just, I love the fact that he's afraid to be that far outside of the box, especially when he's so relatively, if you will, in the box when it comes down to something like groove and how important that is. But the second his solos come up, it's just like, what just happened? This is crazy.
Very innovative guy. And that's another, talk about a guy that I love his story too. And he was talking about it. He was in a band and before Rage, and he was in this like funk band, kind of a hair metal funk band or something. But like, it wasn't really that. He was just kind of trying to go with the times.
Sure.
And you know, they got I think they got a record deal and they got dropped, or the band just, I don't know. And then he says, you know what? I wasn't myself in that band, and I just kind of went along. He says, I'm never going to do that again. I'm going to create what I want to create. And so what we were talking about before, obviously, as soon as he says, fuck it, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to be 100% me, he creates a sound that everyone knows in the rock world.
Yes.
And defined the 90s of like, you know, innovative guitar playing and his riffs, you know, it's Tom Morello like that, you know?
Absolutely.
So,
well, okay, here's another one for you. If there was a band that, you know, they say, hey, Trev, we want you to be a part of this band, whether they are still around or not around anymore. If you were given the opportunity to be a member of any band, what would it be?
oof. I don't know, man. I feel like I'd be stepping on some toes because there's going to be some kind of guitar.
Well, let's just say we're going to, you know what? This is cool, but we're going to add Trev, you know? No stepping on toes. It's just like, this would be the dream band to be in.
Toto.
Bam! Yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, it's so funny. There's so many times I've talked to Dad and be like, Dad's like, you got your own thing going on, you know? I said, but if you ever were to call me and ask me to go on tour with you guys and do something, I don't care if I'm selling out stadiums, I'm doing it, man. You know, like I'll be in the background in the shadows. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude.
Let me be on that stage and fucking be a part of that band for like a blink, you know?
Yes. I mean,
you know,
they're one of the bands that I would want to do that as well. You know, like seriously.
In the band too, like just like the original band. Like I'd love to be like, you know, my age or in my, you know, like in that band with Jeff and
Jeff, yes,
and with Jeff, Mike, Bobby, Steve Bacaro, Paige, Dad.
Yeah. That's
I'd be shitting myself because Dad would do like some unbelievable shit and be like, what am I here for? But I'm just saying like just to be just to see that band or be a part of that band.
God, right.
And like, you know, having someone say, I got a song or I got this idea that everyone's just jamming. It's like, you know, Pop said that like Paige came in with Rosanna and the song that's on the record was take 2 of the band just kind of coming together and playing. And the first run through is just getting there, like, oh, I think I got my these are the parts that I want to do, and everything. And then the second take is what everyone knows, and the jam at the end,
right,
was all improv at the end of it, while they were recording. So it wasn't like they rehearsed that, and that was literally when I finished that. Dad said, "Yeah, kind of." Jeff gave us this look, like, we're going back into it. We're going to and then Paige started doing the piano thing, and then Dad started ripping guitar, and that's what people know, and that's talk about magic.
God, that just kills me.
You guys do that. I've been like, what the fuck?
Right? That's just a whole other kind of animal, man. That really is. Hell, I just keep thinking about that. Yeah, even if you got a chance to do something like that, there's a guy like me who would be honored. Absolutely. It'd be an honor to go ahead and be a part of Toto. I'd be scared to death just because they are such monster players where I'm just like, ooh, yeah.
But you know what, man? The vibe of them would take away the nerves. Like hang with those guys, H and Pop, and they're all. I don't know, Jeff. Jeff was the leader of the band back in the day. I just feel like it would be, if you brought the heat, if you brought some cool shit, they would be all over you.
Damn.
I feel like everyone was a cheerleader for each other at the same time.
It seemed like that, right? Yeah. That's kind of what propelled the band. I love that.
Brought each other in on other sessions, wanted everyone to win. So I think that's what makes a band happen. I guess that's the love of being in a band. Sadly, I didn't get that experience, but
But you did, man. But you did in your own way with this new record, right?
No,
you said, you brought in people that you love, man.
Yeah,
and the people that you dig and that pushed you and got you to this place to create something like that. Hell yeah, you do. Yeah. You know, you understand it. You understand it.
I'm talking about a band name and everyone.
Sure.
It was really being in a band, question everything that if someone else brings it's or you think you can go this direction. Sometimes you can't really fulfill your biggest potential when you're around certain people because your full vision can't be thought out because you got to go through 3-4 other people or 2 other whatever. Right. And even before you get to that point, I'm not feeling that, it's it's just kind of, it's a weird thing. And I feel that unless you're brothers, unless you're so tight and you're hanging out all the time, and you love each other's company, that's how it works. And luckily as a producer, I've been able to work with bands that really love each other and really hang with each other. And I get to see that. And it's awesome. And people that I worked with on my record are my brothers, and there was that just family vibe, and that's why it's so cool. Because this is definitely not it's my record because I produced it and I wrote the songs, right? And but definitely everything that was brought to the table on this record was furthest from all me. It was a collaborative experience that I got. What I love about it too is I was able to listen to my songs as a music listener because I was bringing people like Steve Majora in, or this guy Josh Paul who played in Daughtry, but he's one of the sickest bass players. Right. My buddy Bryce Zoderberg from Lifehouse, and Hector Maldonado from Train, and Abe Laboriel Jr. All these people that when I get to hear something back, I'm just laughing. I'm like, or Jake Hayden, my soul bro, just laughing, man, every time. And I got to listen to things that I wouldn't think of, or and be able to, or Steve coming up with these key parts, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it made the job, because when you're producing and writing all the song, you kind of lose perspective of what's cool, what's not cool anymore. I like it, but you can get too caught up to work with the people that I worked with on the record. They made it easy for me to actually enjoy the experience and not second guess things, and really be able to experience it like I was just kind of not a fly on the wall. But even though it's I got to experience wow, and laugh. Like there's a lot of cackling going on during this record process, man. Of just like, God, my friends are fucking cool.
Yes.
Like, humbling that I felt. It was constant humbling that I felt making this record, and that's why I'm so excited to finally play it for people and finally get it out there, because they got to feel that feeling that I felt that making it. It was just how fun and how amazingly humble and incredible of an experience coming out of such a shitty experience. So it was like, what a like grass is greener on the other side, man, and things that seem like are like the end of the world to you for a split second is the best fucking thing ever. And it brings you, you become stronger. To everyone watching this, it's not just music. If you have a horrible situation, someone just breaks your heart or whatever, if everyone realizes, and they'll eventually notice that you're so grateful for the pain in life,
Right.
It's so crazy when you can appreciate the pain in life, because there's some purpose for it, for you to become a better person or a bigger person or no doubt a stronger person. And this is like, my diary for the last year and a half of my life is starting now. And what I love about it the most is that it's coming a week after I get married. So there's
dig it. Yes.
That's starting on the week before this record comes. And now I get to have the first song on my record come out a week after I marry the love of my life, and like a new chapter, starting a family and all this stuff. It's like, there's no losing, man. No matter what, there's no losing.
Enjoy the ride, my friend. Enjoy the ride. This is, again, a great record. I can't wait for everybody to hear it. And just your enthusiasm, it's infectious, dude. It's infectious. I feel it, and I'm right there with you,
And I might have to talk multiple times throughout this album cycle, man,
Oh, wow, dude. The honor would be mine, man. No joke. I'm going to leave you with one more question.
Sure.
Leave you with one more question. Here it is. If there was one song you wish you wrote, what would it be?
I've already mentioned it. The song I'm dancing to Maddie to. Your
eyes. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That's, I think, one of the best songs ever written of all time.
I agree.
Perfect. A perfectly written song, perfectly delivered song, perfect melody, perfect everything about that song. I'm like, I listened to it I probably listened to it 1,000 times. I don't know, like it's countless times. And I'm never, ever once, I still get the feeling that I felt when I first heard it, when I listened to it every time.
Yes.
Yes. That to me, it's perfection. Like that's the definition of perfection.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I love that song. It's definitely right up there for me as far as my favorite songs probably ever written. It might even be number one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's right up there, man. So, dude, I have enjoyed talking with you immensely, brother. Thank you for coming on the show. I swear we could keep on going because, like, I mean, I feel you. I feel this guy. Yeah.
Well, bro, I'm looking forward to our next chat, man, and obviously for stay in touch. And so, thanks for wanting to be a part of the help promotion of the record, and I'm very grateful for you taking the time as well, man, and I'm really excited for what's to come.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited for you. And again, you're going to be a married man when this airs. So I'll tell you before, but I'll tell you now as well. Congratulations, man.
Thank you, Ken.
On the wedding and a terrific, just killing new record. I've only heard that one song, man, and if it's anything like that, this is gonna be just good God, man. I'm so excited for you, bro. I'm happy for you. I'm excited for you.
Thank you, brother.
Oh yeah, well there you have it. That's my conversation with my new friend Trev Lukather. Like I said right up at the top of the show, it's so good to meet and to get to know people that you connect with, that you vibe with, right? He's definitely one of them. And I'm honored to call him a new friend. So thank you to my guest this week, Trev Lukather. Everybody go check him out when he plays live, and definitely go listen, stream, do whatever it is that you do with his new single, right? Killing new track. I'm also inviting you guys to check out my website, www.kenvaldez.com. Over there, you can find out more about this show. You can find out about my touring schedule, because I am out on the road again. Got some new merch, all that good stuff. Plus, there's links to my social medias, and I'll tell you, I love hearing from you guys. So be in touch with me. I'll get back to you. Also, if you like this show and you want to just help out a little bit more, hey man, there's no tiers, there's no nothing, there's no limits. Go check out our brand new Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/Ken Valdez Approach. I'll tell you, every little bit helps, and it keeps this show moving forward and keeps getting guests like Trev on this show. And man, we couldn't do it without you. I mean, hell, that's why we're doing it in the first place, right? We're doing it for you. And I think that's about it, everybody. So until next time, thank you for hanging with me. Be good to each other. Take care of one another. Bye-bye.